Hi everyone, thanks for attending the webinar today. My name's Patrick Fingler. I work at Latitude Geographics, who are the developers of a WebGIS configuration framework called Geocortex. And today we'll be reviewing how you can configure solutions for water management by leveraging the power of asset management systems in WebGIS. As you may or may not know, this webinar is actually the second of a series of water-specific webinars that we'll be delivering, with the previous webinar focusing on source water protection. So if you haven't had a chance, I'd recommend watching that. I actually come from a GIS background myself, so I'm not an expert within the water industry, but after chatting with various organizations within both the public works and water sectors, I've learned how they can dramatically enhance many of their day-to-day operations by tying an asset management system to their GIS. And I'll be showing you some examples of that within this webinar. So let's dive in. I'm first going to quickly touch on our water webinar series as a whole, and then dive into a great example of how the city of Troy in Michigan are using GIS and asset management systems to manage their legislative MS4 permitting requirements, and how you can accomplish this within your own organization through a number of demonstrations throughout the webinar. And lastly, our next and final webinar within our series will be highlighting how you can use WebGIS to manage water from flood control to water loss. So if that is of interest, stay tuned to our next webinar launching at the end of September. As you all likely know, the public works and utility sectors can be extremely diverse with different departments responding to various operations and challenges. Our water webinar series is highlighting how you can streamline some of these common processes through WebGIS principles, with our first webinar touching on source water protection. Today we'll be reviewing how you can use WebGIS to streamline asset management and stormwater maintenance, and our final webinar next month will review how organizations are managing flood control and responding to water loss with WebGIS. And each webinar will be highlighting how various organizations are using Geocortex Essentials, which is our flagship product, to streamline these business processes. If you don't know, Geocortex Essentials is a WebGIS configuration framework designed to extend Esri's technology even further through configuration as opposed to custom development. As Esri Platinum partners, we ensure that the applications and sites that you build are designed to work with the latest and greatest Esri technology. And you might be watching this webinar as a GIS analyst or possibly even as a stormwater field engineer. The nice thing about Geocortex Essentials is that it enables both the producers and the consumers of geospatial data to streamline their day-to-day operations. From making it easier for a GIS manager to configure a custom business process for an application to enabling field technicians to better manage their assets through intuitive forms and workflows and mobile devices, Geocortex Essentials can better enable your organization to get work done. Now, whether you're working for a local government or a large utility, one thing in common is that you always have several assets that need to be managed. This could include fire hydrants, water mains, catch basins, or another type of asset. But eventually, they will require periodic inspections, and asset management systems really do simplify this process. And when integrating your asset management system with your WebGIS, staff can perform work orders, submit billing information, generate service requests, or perform other work related to your assets a lot more efficiently. And the city of Troy and Michigan are a great example of that. By leveraging ArcGIS Enterprise, ArcGIS Online, and using Cityworks as their asset management system, they've been able to efficiently manage their stormwater assets by using Geocortex Essentials to bridge their WebGIS and asset management system into one single unified application that everyone can access. Having a WebGIS allows staff across the city's departments to analyze their assets prior to making decisions on them within both the office and the field. However, the city of Troy were still looking for an innovative way to proactively get ahead of MS4 permitting requirements, which are required by the Clean Water Act in the United States. If you're not familiar, MS4 refers to Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System Permitting kind of a tongue twister, which requires the city to maintain records of its preventative maintenance activities against its stormwater system. Now, having to comply with incoming requirements for MS4 permitting caused the city of Troy to look for a WebGIS solution that can track the time and equipment used by staff, had the capability to link their tracked data to their assets, and was also intuitive for inexperienced staff within the field that may have lacked GIS backgrounds. The city of Troy ended up developing a WebGIS solution that was based on Geocortex Essentials and our Cityworks extension, which allowed them to integrate with their asset management system and comply with the MS4 permitting requirements. The application is easy to use, which you'll see, and it helps guide the city staff through the process of collecting exactly what is required during an inspection and then linking that to their Cityworks system. Users can see a list of equipment and staff with options really relevant to the preventative maintenance of storm inlets. The application was originally adopted by the city's drain division, but has since been adopted by the sewer division as well to track stormwater maintenance in the field more easily. They can now track details of individual repairs and costs and are able to quickly run a workflow to order maintenance and calculate the time or cost to complete it, preparing them for the incoming MS4 requirements. Now, let's see one of their applications that they've created specifically for performing catch basin cleaning in action. Okay, so this is the City of Troy's Geocortex application for performing catch basin maintenance and creating work orders on their catch basins. In this example, you can see there's a number of different stormwater data sets that they are using. These kind of yellow circles indicate that there's been some recent inlet cleaning at a specific location. In this example, an inlet or a catch basin, and they're essentially presenting the user with a workflow right off the bat to select their location on the map. Now, if I was using this on my mobile device, it would just use my geolocation, but in this example, I'm running it from my desktop computer, so it's kind of got a different interface, and also it's prompting me to select my location. So in this example, let's say I'm currently here and I'm inspecting this catch basin or this drain inlet at this location. So what we're doing is we ran a workflow, and using our Cityworks extension, we're able to buffer this location and identify all of these actual assets within Cityworks that are near us. So in this example, I'm going to select this particular drain inlet. I can see it's 52 feet away from my location. And I'm now prompted with a new form where I can, enter in my catch basin cleaning information. So I can select myself as the employee. So this example, I'm going to select my name as Matt Collins, and I'll say I spent 15 minutes cleaning it, and I used this particular truck. And I'll say the catch basin had lots of leaves. I have since cleaned it, and I'm going to, I have the option to create a maintenance work order as well, but I'm going to upload a photo, and I'll select, this is the photo, and say this is what the catch basin looked like prior cleaning, and click save. So now I've attached a photo. I'm pretty happy with my form. And now when I click finish, what we're doing is we're actually passing all of that form information to Cityworks, the actual asset management system, through their API, and then creating a location or an actual item within ArcGIS server to indicate that we've done some recent inlet cleaning. Now, I don't have access to the City of Troy's Cityworks asset management system, but I'd be able to go in, and show you if I did have access that we actually did create a physical asset in their Cityworks asset management system, indicating that we've done some cleaning. And I'll kind of show you, the whole process of this later with when I start talking about our Cityworks extension, but this is a good example, just kind of showing you how the city of Troy are currently doing it. And if you wanted to kind of see how this would look like on a mobile device, if I just refresh this here, this is kind of what it would look like on a mobile device. So the user would be prompted with a form to select their location. Again, it would use their geolocation. Let's say we're located here. I'll click next, and then I can select my particular asset. So you can see this is the asset of interest. And I can, again, continue to fill out my form and submit that. Now, I'm not going to submit that, but that's kind of the process of how you'd be able to do this on a handheld device or a tablet device as well. I'm just going to cancel out of that and hop back into the PowerPoint. So how can you connect your asset management systems with your WebGIS? Well, using Geocortex Essentials, it comes with an array of different capabilities which make this possible. Primarily our integration capabilities. So Geocortex Essentials is kind of like the glue that's able to hold together different integrations with different third-party systems. And one of the ways you can integrate with different systems is also using our workflow technology, which is kind of that form-driven process that I kind of showed earlier. So our integration capabilities really allows you to extend the reach of your mapping applications by integrating with virtually any third-party business system or data source. We've done a tremendous amount of different integrations for various different customers. So if there is a third-party system that you're using, chances are we can integrate with it. And one of the ways you can do that is by building these user-defined workflows that kind of allow you to kind of streamline and automate your complex business process, really increasing, efficiency and end user success. Like I didn't have to be a GIS professional to perform that catch basin cleaning operation, right? It was a very seamless task. Just had to click a couple buttons and I was good to go. But in the back end, we did a lot. We passed that information to Cityworks and created a physical asset and then displayed on the map that the asset has been cleaned. So this is kind of a process of workflows can be entirely customized and configured, but really they allow you to create this intuitive guided interaction. For example, capturing some geometry on the map, collecting some form data, which then could be pushed to an asset management system or ArcGIS server, for example, doing some map automations, maybe displaying some charts. And also with our reporting capabilities, you can also compile all of this information and generate a report of your spatial and non-spatial data. Now, our Cityworks extension is it sits on top of Geocortex Essentials. And, for customers that are already using Cityworks, it's a great way that allows you to leverage the combined power of both Geocortex and Cityworks to perform your business tasks. So really, it allows you to create simple, task-focused applications to streamline the creation and fulfillment of, asset management requests, service requests, work orders, inspections. These are kind of common operations within any asset management system that you kind of have to do. And it comes with predefined workflows that allow you to perform a number of different tasks. So out of the box, you're able to view your asset history. You're able to perform, fast track work orders, perform inspections. And we also provide workflows that allow you to change this to suit your own business processes as well. So definitely get in touch with us if you are using Cityworks and this is of interest. I'll just hop into a quick little demo to show this in action. So let's see. So this is our Cityworks application, and as you can see, it's kind of got a little bit of a different interface than the City of Troy's application, which, they've added their own branding to it and kind of really simplified what tools are available and just made it easier for, your end user to simply perform a catch basin work order. Now, in our Cityworks application, you can see we've got an I want to menu, which is they're typically present on most of our customer sites. And really what you'll typically put in here are common operations that you want your end users to run. And with the Cityworks extension, you get all of these different workflows out of the box. And you can configure them or customize them to work with your own data or change them up using our workflow technology. But if I run one, you'll kind of see how our integration works. So in this example, I'm going to run a workflow to fast track a work order, and I'm going to enter in my Cityworks credentials, and now it's prompting me to select my location. And again, if I was using a mobile device, it would just simply pick up my geolocation, but in this example, let's say I'm here. And I'll click next. And like the City of Troy's application, it's going out and identifying all of the nearby assets within Cityworks. And maybe I'm after this hydrant. I want to perform a work order on this particular hydrant and fast track it. So it's now going to ask me to select my work order template. Now again, it's going to Cityworks and finding all of the work order templates for a hydrant. So in this example, I might want to repair this hydrant because it's rusty. So I'll click next and I'll say hydrant was rusty, just repaired, because I'm kind of fast tracking this work order. I can upload a photo, so I could select this rusty hydrant, upload that and say, this is what the hydrant looks like. Click save. I've got a number of additional options, so I can select who did the labor. So I signed in as CW admin, so I'm going to select myself. And I said I was, de-rusting this hydrant for 3 hours. And I can select, what material I used. So again, going out to Cityworks, identifying all of the materials that we have, and I used a hydrant repair kit to derust this hydrant. And I used one of them. And I'll also upload some equipment that I used. And in this example, I used a hydrant wrench as well. And I'll click next. So I used this hydrant wrench for 1 hour out of the 3, and I used one of them. And so you can see I'm kind of filling out this work order. And again, I don't need to be a GIS professional to perform this. It's very intuitive and easy. And it says changes are not saved until you click finish. So if I click finish here, what we're doing is we're passing this information to our Cityworks asset management system. And if I navigate here, it'll say, do I want to navigate to Cityworks? Yes, I do. So this is the actual Cityworks asset management system. We're using kind of an outdated version. It's back in 2013. So if you're using an updated version of Cityworks, it'll have a different UI than this. But here you can see we've actually used our workflow and used our WebGIS to pass in and create a work order to our Cityworks asset management system. So here you can see my comments are there, the actual hydrant ID, and if I could continue to drill down through this work order within the Cityworks application. But really the idea is you're not having to fill this in within Cityworks. You're simply stepping through some guided, streamlined interactions within Geocortex Essentials to perform that work order. A couple of other workflows that I can quickly show is asset history. So in this example, let's say I'm here. I can quickly see all of the different work orders that have been performed on a particular asset. So I might want to select this particular hydrant. And here I can see that, back in early August, we performed a work order. So I could actually open this up into Cityworks. I can actually view the results of the actual asset itself and the work that was performed as well. So kind of having that bridge between your asset management and your WebGIS really simplifies this process and allows your field inspectors and staff to kind of get at the information that they need quite rapidly and easily. So that's a really nice workflow that I like, and it's telling me the actual asset, and I could filter this down as well. So it's pretty cool. Lastly, you might have to complete inspections, right? That's a very common thing that organizations managing assets need to do. So in this example, I'm going to select my location here, and I'll click continue. And I might want to complete an inspection on this hydrant. So I've got the option to attach a photo. I'm not going to, and if I click next, it's now presenting me with a form to perform my inspection. Again, you can configure and customize these forms to suit your business processes and the schema that your data is in. But here I can, kind of go through each one of these, say that the hydrant is accessible. And I'm not going to go through all of these, but you can see, yeah, all caps are present, or maybe caps are not greased, right? Caps are easily removed. They're not actually easily removed. Again, I'd be typically doing this on a mobile device and kind of go through some of these. Hydrant is operable, and I'll say number of turns to close the gate valve. It is matches the specifications, and I'll click next here. Say that I could enter in, the repairs that I've done. So I've repaired the hydrant, and now I can close the inspection, right? Now, again, I'm kind of just mocking this up on the fly, but you can kind of see how useful this would be in an actual business use case. So, and the city of Troy are actually using our Cityworks extension to accomplish that. So again, I could go to the Cityworks asset management system, and this is my actual inspection form that I filled out. Right, you can see that I didn't enter in some information, and all this got passed through to Cityworks. So that's just a quick little demo showing our Cityworks extension. If you are using Cityworks, yeah, that's you may or may not be interested in our extension. But what if you don't have Cityworks? Can you still connect your web GIS to other asset management systems? Well, the answer is yes. We have lots of customers using different asset management systems. Now, both Cityworks and Novotics, who are the developers of elementsXS, which is kind of a combined solution of which contains both Geocortex Essentials and their own really flexible asset management system. So both Cityworks and Novotics are actually technology partners with Latitude Geographics. So we've kind of worked with them to create extensions, and in the case for Novotics, help them build out their product. But if you don't see, the asset management system again that you're using on this list, chances are we have integrated with it, or we can integrate with it. So definitely get in touch with us if that's of interest. Now, I wanted to kind of touch on elementsXS a little bit further because it is a really powerful application. Really, it's Geocortex Essentials embedded and integrated inside of Novotics's flexible asset management system called elementsXS. And they primarily work with local governments and smaller utilities. And it's kind of got this, embedded Essentials viewer, and you're able to run workflows very similar to the ones within our Cityworks extension that integrate with the asset management system. And there's a whole array of tools embedded into this application that they have developed. It's particularly a great solution if you don't already have an asset management system and are looking to get up and running. And you're also able to, again, leverage all of the Essentials functionality to create, reports, legislatory reports, or in this case a report on water main repairs by date. So definitely, yeah, worth checking out elementsXS if you're interested in getting up and running with an asset management system. Now, what if you're using Web App Builder for ArcGIS? You're not using Geocortex Essentials. You're simply using Web App Builder for ArcGIS, which is great. Can you still perform, guided inspections on your assets, right? Well, we actually, our technology integrates with Web App Builder for ArcGIS. And we've got two products that you can find on the ArcGIS Marketplace, both Geocortex Reporting and Geocortex Workflow. And we have 60-day trials as well. So if you are using Web App Builder, you can get a hold of these products, try them out, and leverage them within your Web App Builder applications to perform, inspections, generate reports. So I'm just going to quickly jump into a demo here to show this in action. So yeah, just for the folks on the line who may be using Web App Builder. So here you can see I'm in Web App Builder, and I've added a number of widgets. Now I've got Esri's out of the box widget here for just selecting some features on the map. Just give that a second to load. You can see there's a bunch of different data that we're displaying here in our web map, and I've got additional widgets. Now I've added these widgets using our workflow technology. So kind of the same forms that you saw in that Cityworks demo, you can kind of simulate those forms with using our workflow technology and use them within your Web App Builder application. So in this example, this is a workflow that I put together to perform an inspection on some hydrants. So again, traditionally, you'd be running this on a mobile device, so I can manually select my location or use my own geolocation. So this example, let's say I'm here and I'm going to buffer my location by, I don't know, 400 feet. And you'll see that, we're reverse geocoding that location. We're presenting a new form. So again, making it easy and intuitive for a non-GIS user to perform inspections. So in this example, I've buffered my location. I've selected all the hydrants that fall within it. I can actually route my location, route myself to each of these individual hydrants. So we're calling Esri's routing service. So really making it easy to navigate to each of these particular hydrants. And when I get to a particular hydrant, I can now perform a new inspection. So I can enter my name as the inspector, or I can also view past inspections as well. So I can see there's been a number of inspections that have happened at this location back in 2014. So that's quite a while ago. So I think it's about time we inspect it. So I'm going to enter my name as Patrick Fingler, say that it's poor, and I'm not going to change the flow rate, and I'll say that the hydrant is, again, it's rusty, needs to be repaired. And I have the option to, choose my date and time. Currently, we're just getting the current date and time, and I can submit this. Now, the beauty about workflow is, I designed that form, but you can easily change it to suit your business process as well. So anyways, what we did there is we passed that inspection to ArcGIS server. You'll see this is our actual hydrant asset, and it's got a related table, which is all of our inspections. And let me search for maybe the inspector so I can see my inspection that I just entered got passed through. So that's pretty cool. Just again, showing how you can use our workflow technology inside of Web App Builder. And if you wanted to, you can actually report on this as well. So I could search a hydrant by facility ID, or I could search it by selecting some hydrants. So maybe I'm interested in these 3 hydrants, and I'll click next, and we'll zoom to them and select them and highlight them on the map. And again, I'm using a workflow to do this, and now I can run a report. So we're passing all of this attribute information to our reporting designer. Again, you can get a 60-day trial of this, which I've kind of configured this report connected to an ArcGIS service. Simply, I've got my all of my attributes, and I'm just dragging and dropping them onto the map. I can display charts inside of this reporting interface. You can see it's continuing to run, but the nice thing is we're dynamically creating this report. So it's using our up-to-date information. So I can now download it, and you'll see I've got a nice little chart showing the count of the original hydrant flow rates. And then for each of these hydrants, I've got a QR code. I've got my actual comments being passed through, all the inspections related information, the actual hydrant asset information as well. And I've also integrated bookmarks into this as well, so I can pan from each particular asset, making it really easy for a large 22-page report. And if I wanted to, I can now open this in this kind of QR code. So maybe I take this report out to me, report out into the field. I can now scan it, and it'll zoom to that particular hydrant. So again, that's just an example of how you can leverage Geocortex technology inside of Web App Builder to still inspect your assets, even if you don't have an asset management system. So kind of using Esri's framework for managing your assets. Now, if any of this is of interest to you, again, we have our professional services team available. We also have our just support team as well for our customers. But if you need help, building any of these workflows out, doing any business analysis, even just implementing ArcGIS server, they definitely can help out with that and help get you started. And if you want to learn more, we've got our next webinar. It's on flood control and water loss. That's going to be coming out on the end of September. And yeah, feel free to visit our website, get in touch with us. You can email info@latitudegeo.com, or you can email me personally as well. Yeah, happy to answer any questions that you guys might have. And yeah, just thanks so much for listening. Um, and stay tuned for our next webinar launching end of September. Bye for now.